myself like nobody's watching. Don't really care if my rhythm's off, 'cause I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching me. I'm gonna dance by myself like nobody's watching. Don't really care if my rhythm's off, 'cause I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching me. I'm gonna dance, 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 dance. I'm gonna dance, 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 dance. I'm gonna dance, dance, dance like nobody's watching me. I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna dance. I've been trying to cope since you ran away. I've been feeling lost, I've been feeling pain. And no matter what I do, I just feel like I do what I do for you. Tried to call the doctor, didn't help. Took a trip out to the sun to revive myself. But no matter what I do, I just feel like I do what I do for you. I'm gonna dance, 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 dance. I'm gonna dance, 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 dance. I'm gonna dance, dance, dance like nobody's watching me. I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna dance by myself like nobody's watching. Don't really care if my rhythm's off, 'cause I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching me. I'm gonna dance by myself like nobody's watching. Don't really care if my rhythm's off, 'cause I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching me. I'm gonna dance, 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 dance. I'm gonna dance, 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 dance. I'm gonna dance, dance.
An opening round of racing action, which brought to the fold, quite simply put, a strong qualifying, a strong run up to the race, but ultimately for Adrian Manduca, just one place too short. Aaron De Battista was able to start the season exactly the way he wanted to by leading the championship outright. But when it comes to the second round of this 5-round championship and how frantic and fraught all of the battle action is going to be, we head to Brands Hatch, a circuit that has all of the pitfalls that surrounds it that most drivers should know, like the back of their hands, as an iconic national circuit that once upon a time was the international circuit of all international circuits here, of course, in the United Kingdom. My name's Shakespeare here with the MOZA Racing Malta GT Cup, powered by Intercomp in collaboration with GamingMalta, Hyundai, Intercomp, Sunshine Snacks, Level Academy, JACAP and GX Trust. as we get ourselves set for the second of 5 championship rounds. Oulton Park on the horizon as the middle round of the championship. Snetterton makes it a little bit more open and expansive. And then finally, the home of racing in the United Kingdom, Silverstone, as the final round of the season. But a Brands Hatch circuit that will produce a lot of great racing action and good battling up on the horizon. But let's move over to the championship standings and get a lay of the land of where everything has sat after the last round, the opening round of the championship at Donington Park. And I think it was very clear for all to see that Aaron De Battista was able to move up in the championship to the top, as was expected. Adrian Manduka in second, and the quiet, unsuspecting Sheldon Muscat, the reigning champion, putting himself in third position after the opening round's worth of battling, I think really did show what drivers were capable of doing and how they looked to push through. It was a very strong middle of the field as well that went along to the top 10. You keep an eye on those drivers who will fight around for those points, hoping to get a top 5 finish and maybe move on up and gain a tiny bit more from that. But that's worth keeping in mind as the season progresses. But to a Brands Hatch circuit, which has a number of great corners situated with it. The fabled big drop of Paddock Hill Bend is one which is known throughout the world as one of the great committal corners in the world. But you have chances to pass at Druids, which is turn number 2, all the way to Hawthorne Bend at the north side. Sorry, I will correct myself, actually, not necessarily the north side of the circuit, but more rather the east side of the circuit, Hawthorne Bend, and then those consecutive rights, Westfield, down through Dingledale, up through the Sheens Curve, over to Stirlings, and the run along Clearways, which goes through the final corner of the Jim Clark Curve. Will look to be as amazing as a push as we have seen in so many options out there, so we should be able to get them into play as this goes on and see where good battling is going to be found. This is one of the few circuits where you have to try and find an overtake around these 11 corners and these 3.916 kilometers out there in terms of effort. I doubt that we're going to be doing 112s out there. I'd say we're more likely to see likes of 1 minute 30 lap times. I think it's going to be more apt to see, but this is a very, very I would say bullring style circuit here around at Brands Hatch. But the MOZA Racing Malta GT Cup will be heading its way to qualifying in the next few minutes. So we are going to take this moment here to step aside here with your production here from Velocity Esports Racing. When we come back, we will be in the thralls of qualifying, and we will see who is going to be top dollar when it comes to that qualifying effort and who's on pole for the second round of the championship.
This is the iconic oven-baked cheesy crick snack you've always loved. And this, it's Cricks too. Can you spot the difference? No? That's because there isn't one. Cricks still has the same irresistible crunchy goodness, wrapped in a stylish new packet. Same delicious flavour, brand new look. So snack lovers, get ready to spot Cricks in the snack aisle. Cricks. Same iconic taste, new stylish pack. Now in sharing pack size.
Welcome back to the MOZA Racing Malta GT Cup, powered by Intercomp. James Otter will be with us in a few minutes' time, but at least for this moment in time, we can talk championship standings out there at this moment. Aaron De Battista picking up that victory in the opening round of the championship for VMD Intercomp Simsport. Adrian Manduka alongside in second, and then Sheldon Muscat then in position number 3. It was then Sean Cassar and James Smith, which made up the top 5. George Page, Bart Shuj in 7th position with Maya Lafela. She was in 8th, with Gabriel Quattramani making up 9th position as far as qualifying went. So it was an all-important charge. We were able to get ourselves through, but we will take this moment to jump on down to qualifying, where all of the battles will now be in place, and the first start of the season for the ever comparable and quick Ryan Carabot over the course of racing action. Keep an eye on him as they go. Free practice just coming to an end, with Adrian Manduka again looking like the quickest driver of the lot. James, it's a pleasure to have you along for the ride, but for the moment, this is now going to be a game of qualifying to see who is going to be up on top compared to everybody else. And at a circuit like this one here at Brands Hatch, I doubt there are many more important circuits. I think the only one will be Oulton Park this season, where qualifying is so important. We will get James in the next couple of moments' time, but qualifying will be the all-important run that we will keep our eyes focused on as they go through. You will notice on the timing tower there the differences in the coloured numbers which are out there, which indicates the online rating category that you find yourself in. So if you're a pro, you get a white number. Silver category, you get the silver background to you. And if you are a rookie, you are down in red. So does produce quite a few differences out there with the many different manufacturers out there and looking to try.
As it may look like that we may have lost
and
Jake
looking to
temporarily.
be
I think Jake's back with us. We've just had a few technical. I think there's technical hitches all around, Jake. Looks like we might have lost you for just a brief second there. You were just mentioning about the gold-silver standards.
Yeah, those gold-silver standards I think are really important, James. And all important on top of everything else is that everyone's got to stand up to the highest possible level.
Yeah, that's the critical thing, isn't it? You know, everyone's got to be at the absolute peak. You know, these are extremely powerful vehicles around here, around a circuit grade B circuit, of course, here for the FIA. But nonetheless, these drivers have got to be absolutely at their wits' end of what is probably one of the more iconic circuits on the calendar.
Yeah, it's a
Looking like we've got continuing issues there, but we'll keep an eye out as well on what has been a fantastic performance nonetheless, I think, from the likes of Karabot, of course, in the Ford down at the front, but we've seen more people out there at the moment just trying to get the motions rolling across the rest of the calendar. The Ford looked particularly powerful, actually, across the sphere last weekend out, but nonetheless, you know, it ended up becoming quite a strong performance nonetheless from the field of drivers that later down the line from those in the Audi. And of course, in the end, you know, the standings make their way. As we've just got Jake back with us now, you know, we're just very briefly talking about the performance of the Ford Mustang actually last time out, you know, at the Donington Park, but completely different circuit here in Brands Hatch. Oh, it looks like we've lost him again, but yeah, the bottom line is that the Ford Mustang, extremely powerful circuit, you know, for those that have got the higher downforce now. So this is where perhaps the big engine that is expected in the Ford Mustang may not be at its best. It may be more powerful for those that consider the downforce maybe of the likes of the Ferrari, the one with the sort of shorter wheelbase around here as well. So we're just a bit under 18, a bit under 17 minutes to go here as we start to see the first lap times coming in. Karabot leading the way with a 24.0. A little bit over a second, a little bit under rather a second for Pache in second place. So we've just got Sazar coming across the line as well, 23 thousandths of a second down on Karabot as well, as we start to see lap time starting to stroll in, and an even faster lap time, and no surprises here from Manduka, looking seriously sharp out there at the moment in the Ford. The number 93 Ford looking sharp with that 23.407 is Coca Patrick in the other Ford as well, actually. Karabot, as I said, 0.6 of a second down, but plenty of lap time out there nonetheless. I'm keeping a very firm eye as well, actually, on the likes of Jamie Smith, who of course is looking fairly sharp himself actually this season as well in that sort of midfield battle. I think there's going to be more pace potentially on the cards for the man in the Aston Martin. He's just coming across the start finishing line now to what will be, I believe, setting a lap time. Puts himself 7th, 2 seconds down on Manduka, but definitely more lap time to find rather for the man in the Ford. But I'm keeping a very firm eye as well, nonetheless, on Quattromani, who had a bit of a stinker actually in the last race out in Donington Park, my favourite circuit on the calendar, but nonetheless looking to try and find a little bit more pace, maybe bounce back from a little bit of a shocker of a race last time out as well. Big fan of as well of what I'm seeing as well from De Battista as we're going on board with him at the moment actually in the Audi. This is a man who really stretched the most of this car actually in the Intercomp Audi. He really put that pressure on the likes of Manduka, and he's coming across the line, and he continues to put pressure on Manduka as well, looking very strong, but only actually just over half a second down on Manduka, so blistering lap time actually in that Ford Mustang. Again, not a car perhaps known for its pace around this particular circuit, but nonetheless a really good performance out there at the moment. But look, the bottom line is that it's all going to be at its absolute peak out there, isn't it, for the drivers as they just try to work their way around this circuit. It's one of high historical prevalence is Brands Hatch, and I think Brands Hatch, you know, offers possibly an opportunity for the drivers to really sort of set the precedent, make their point known. We are going to be the drivers to be at the front, and it does not surprise me Manduka and De Battista are at towards the front. If you are just tuning in, welcome aboard to the Velocity Esports Racing Championship here, and this is the GT Championship. Oh, got a spinner just going out on the circuit there. I'm not sure who that one is, but definitely got caught out there was the project of Versio, Adrian Manduka. There's a little bit of lagging potentially happening out on circuit at the moment as well. We've got De Battista actually straight into the pit lane. Looks like he ended up actually just lagging straight into the pit lane as a result. On board with Sahel here in the Ferrari, looking reasonably sharp as Abu Sahel is the number 16, as he's just coming across the start finishing line right now. No improvement on this particular occasion because he is on now was an out lap, I believe, now going through turn 1, looking to try and keep it as tight as he can, as he looks like he's actually just going to abandon this particular lap here. It looks like a little bit of a wider line. So if the director can hear me loud and clear, actually, wouldn't mind going on board with Pache. Oh, look at that. He's thinking there is perfect there from the director, who immediately saw my mind there as we're on board with Pache as well. The Project Aversio team, the Maltese team, in their what it would be considered potentially their home situation, shall we say, here in this particular event. He's just coming across the start finishing line right now as the Project Aversio Ferrari, 1.14 seconds down, just about to get going with his lap time, chucking the car through turn 1 then. Nice little toe potentially here, going towards turn number 2, but not a bad effort nonetheless, actually, from the Project Aversio drivers. He just keeps up with the pressure here to try and get as close as he can potentially to the likes of Manduka and De Battista, who are looking immediately out the blocks to be the team or the two drivers potentially that are going to be fighting it out in this particular championship. But Pache's still got the pace, chucking the car through the left-hander then as he goes towards South Bank and then down Pilgrim's Drop, where that Ferrari is going to be expected to be at its absolute peak with this Ferrari power unit. Hopefully we actually have Jake back. It looks like he's abandoned his lap actually on this occasion and straight into the pit lane on this one. Hopefully we'll have Jake back with us then. Yep, straight into the pit lane. Jake, you know, nice to have you back with us as well. Obviously a few technical issues again in this particular stream. We had this last time out. No, we're continuing to have these issues at the moment as well. It looks like it's a little bit of an issue still continuing to occur on this particular one, so we'll stay with the unfortunate nature of my voice here, as we've got 11 and a half minutes in this session then to go in this qualifying. Again, Manduka showing he's got the qualifying pace. He just needs to keep up with the race pace and have the strategy, because Manduka, really unfortunate, wasn't he, last time out here in Donington Park? We have to say he had the pace to basically lead the way, but a cracking strategy call from the likes of De Battista meant that in the end he just kept the pressure on, and then a mistake led him to missing out on that race victory last time out. Chucks the car through the right-hander at the absolute pinnacle at Sterling's now, as he'll try and find as much pace as he can with the power unit of the Ford. Straight down clearways and then obviously down onto the top straight here tonight. It is, again, one of the more iconic circuits. Hopefully, I don't know if we've got Jake back with us on this one, Jake. Prevalence, isn't there, this particular circuit? Across the start-finishing line now for Manduka. 123 flat for him. It is a historical prevalent circuit. Potentially historical events could occur tonight as they drive. We start to see what happens with this particular championship. Yeah, it looks like we've still got some technical issues happening at the moment with Jake as well, so we'll continue on with our coverage at the moment out there as well. So 23 flat for Manduka, 10 minutes to go in this qualifying session as well. Schmieg in 11th place as well, 2.5 seconds separating the gaps as your sort of top 11 at the moment. Another man that's actually a little bit of a situation, I believe. If I remember this correctly, was it Jens Schmieg that ended up actually running out of fuel actually at the end of the race, I believe. I might be completely wrong. I'll have to double check that one. But yeah, that's the critical one here as they're going through the right-hander then of turn number 1. Of course, turn number 1 being the Paddock Hill bend down Pilgrim's Rise. Jake's still struggling at the moment, so he may hear a few little Discord noises as he's going down the hill then towards one of my favourite set of corners on these older circuits, then through bottom bend, then onto the bottom straight, then into South Bank. The McLaren is expected to be relatively okay at a circuit like this one. The McLaren's actually got a bit of an all-round positivity potentially as well. It's a lovely livery as well on Jens Schmieg's car then as he heads then down Pilgrim's Drop into Hawthorne, where we would expect down towards Portobello. This is where you may expect Schmieg to be pretty much at the peak of this McLaren's ability, down Portobello and then into Westfield. You know, answers on a postcard. Let me know, who your favourite potentially is for this one. Surely you're going to think Manduka is going to be up there as he chucks the car through the right-hander then through Westfield, then down the in fact, that's Dingledale Corner actually, then going through into Sterling's down Clearways. This is where, the people are going to be at their pinnacle, really, hasn't they, in the MOZA Racing Malta GT Cup. Of course, British set of circuits for the next few rounds of racing here, brought to you by Velocity Sports Racing. Down then towards the main straight, and 9th place into the top 10. Very well taken from the McLaren of Jen Schmieg. But nonetheless, it is still all about the guy in first place at the moment, as Manduka leading the way by over half a second. And Adrian Manduka showing that he's going to continue to have the qualifying pace. It's just whether he can transpose that into the race pace that he so direly needs. As Jake rejoins us on this one, I wonder if he's got his thoughts on Adrian Manduka. Got the race pace, but he's got the qualifying pace, but the race pace didn't transpire last time out.
No, it very much didn't, and I think that's quite telling in terms of where he hopes to be over the course of racing